Good evening, everyone. Tonight is April 26, 2022, Abington Conservation Meeting. The time is 6:30. First item is old business, notice of intent filed by Abington DPW / Beaverbrook Playground Committee for the rehab of Beaverbrook Playground located at 1 Ralph G. Hamlin Lane. We received a letter this afternoon that they would like to be continued until the May 10th, 2022 meeting, as they're still waiting on plans. Someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion, we accept their continuance.
Have a
Next
second?
meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Here, take one copy for me. All right, next on the agenda is SE 084-0549, continued hearing. Notice of intent filed by Rick Montgomery to construct a single-family dwelling. Construction including driveway, grading, landscaping, and utilities within the 100-foot buffer zone at 75 Dale Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Paul Bakers with Grady Consulting on behalf of the applicant, Rick Montgomery. Once again, in front of you once again to bring you an update. We have received, this project has gone through multiple rounds of review comments. We've received and redressed the stormwater comments, basically generally accepting the comments and revising the plans as such. We also received peer review comments from Mr. Bob Gray regarding the resource areas, and we have addressed those comments as well. We've also updated the plan set. I know there was an abutter concern regarding the barn and any automotive work that was being done. We've added floor drains to the barn with a tight tank to help address that issue of the concern of the butter. We have a very good project. It's been through multiple rounds of comments, reviews. We have a very sound project here that is in line with the intent of the town stormwater bylaw and the town wetland bylaws, and I'll be happy to address any final comments the Commission may have, and we respectfully request a vote on the project tonight.
Thank you. Any comments from the board?
Well, I think we got a letter from Bob Gray and he's not available.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to come into play at all.
Well, he asked if anybody had any comments or questions to email him. I emailed him yesterday. He responded to me last night at almost 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else reached out to him.
Again, I don't know what the gentleman on the board has done. Do you have any questions or comments on Mr. Gray's report?
No. Well, we just got this because it didn't come through in the PDF, so it's my first time looking at it.
I also had the same issue today when I emailed Tony and I said the PDF didn't come through.
So
I did read mine though.
I didn't see the floodplain indicated on the drawings. Is it there?
So
it's
one of the that was an issue that was one of the comments previously, and so we looked into the floodplain and we went to the FEMA document. I think one of the comments was to overlay the floodplain map.
I think that was on the stormwater peer review.
Yeah.
That was one
But
of their
I
comments.
also made that comment, and so
Okay.
also DEP made that comment as well in their comments back to you guys.
So we had initially overlaid initially overlaid kind of the flood map on top of the site, and it pretty much took up the whole site. So we did a little bit further investigation and found a guidance document by FEMA regarding the interpolation of the flood zone. And the flood map has two base elevations, 155 and 157. And previously we had done 156 as the flood elevation. When we reviewed that document, it described in detail of how you follow the path of the flood line and you can interpolate your point there. So we went up, we followed the path of the flood line to the proposed crossing and determined the flood elevation at the crossing. That ended up resulting in, previously we had some flood zone storage that we were going to have to replicate. Because of that new flood elevation, it was actually lower than 156. It eliminated any sort of flood zone replication that we had to accomplish.
I believe Mr. Gray also said that where the man-made depression was now certified as a vernal pool because of the eggs from the salamanders and the frogs that were discovered, and he asked that it be, the area be widened around that.
So I spoke with Mr. Gray in the field after his first site visit, and he indicated he had spotted a frog. I forget the type of frog, but then yes, we did notice.
It was a wood frog.
Yeah.
They were chorusing, yeah.
And then in his follow-up visit, he noticed some eggs, and so we updated the design to treat it as if it was a certified vernal pool. We pulled all the drainage outlets and drainage, the infiltration basin and the outlet outside of the 100-foot buffer. So we also adjusted some of the water. We also added some pipes to convey the water from, kind of up the hill
Right,
here.
right.
Before we were catching it and running it to the basin.
Yes.
So we updated it to bring in some pipes that will carry underneath the driveway so that we can provide, we can pretty much provide a similar amount of water runoff to that man-made depression so that it'll operate kind of how it does in the pre and the post condition.
I think when I looked at the plans that you've left a 20-foot buffer zone around it, is that correct? Did I look at that right?
I think that's the Abington.
Yeah, that's what we've been using, so
Yeah.
that's what they have for a buffer, is 20 feet
Okay,
around it, if that answers your question.
it does.
I noticed that there is no stormwater stormwater, the 7 or 8 criteria plan, because you checked that it was a single-family home and it's exempt. However, we have a road the size of Dale Street that goes back and forth, a barn, a big house, and a roadway to it. So I don't think it qualifies for the exemption, and that we should have a stormwater management plan that meets the exemption. I didn't see it anywhere in what I received.
I'm sorry,
There's the 9 tenets of, stormwater operation and maintenance of the stormwater systems and all that.
that is all in the stormwater report.
Where is it in this? Is this the stormwater
Yes.
report? Where is it in the stormwater report? Is it at the back, maybe? Did I miss it? Oh, it's at the very back. Is it?
Page 302.
302.
Yep.
Okay, well, all right, great. Thank you. I didn't know it was even there because I was looking at the calcs and not.
Yep.
the
So,
far
yeah,
back.
so we run through the
Okay,
water quality, the recharge, all that. We have an operating and maintenance manual during construction. We have an operating and maintenance manual post-construction as well, included in the stormwater report.
I have a comment. In general, I think what happened was the stormwater, which is pretty thick here. The planning board's engineer did a review and made comments. And we all got, well, I don't know if you all did, but
I did.
we got the comments back, which are significant. I didn't have enough time to go through and check them, but I'm not a civil engineer as well. But I understand that normally what happens is, and this is what we've done for years, is the planning board normally would work, the planning board engineer and you would work together, and they'd agree at the end that everything was complete, like wouldn't leave it up to the planning board members or us,
Conservation, right.
because we're not experts. We're not, it's just one of those things. But I think, as I understand it, the applicant has not agreed to do any more than what they did right now. Is that correct? That you've responded to the comments, but the planning board engineer isn't involved anymore. You're not going to have him do another review. You guys usually come together is the way we usually do it in town.
Yeah, because they've basically done everything that the peer reviewer asked of them.
But usually there's another letter that comes from the planning board engineer that says, everything's in agreement. I'm a little, it's a lot of comments. I don't know how any of us could check it.
Did everybody here do it?
I have, and I've had an acquaintance, former colleague, look into it as well for me. I want to make sure
Yeah, that's
it's done right.
that's my concern is,
Yep.
I'm not trying to be a pain in the neck here. I just,
No, and I think-
it just doesn't follow the protocol that I have seen for 20 years on conservation and planning, that normally there's, another round that happens, and in this case, it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
And
first
it
time
bothers
since-
me because, there were a lot of comments. This is not an insignificant system, that's all. It's not just one stormwater basin that we're dealing with. There's a number of them.
And just to add to that, I mean, this is not my wheelhouse. I really don't have any experience in this, and that's, again, these are the answers to the questions that were generated by the peer reviewer that did the stormwater. If he's seen these responses and he's fine with it, I'm going to have to go on that because there's no way I'm qualified. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I certainly don't feel qualified to say, yeah, I know everything there is to know about
But he is not going to do that, is what I understand. That's
Yeah, I mean,
that's my issue, so.
I'm not a PE, that's why I reached out to one of my friends who is,
Mhm.
who designs drainage systems
Mhm.
10 times the size of this.
Mhm.
And
Well, that's good.
I'm comfortable.
Okay,
That's all I'm gonna say.
all right, well, that's helpful. The one elephant in that we haven't talked about yet is that, reading Mr. Gray's report, the intermittent stream, even though there was that drought memo, it appears that he still considers it an intermittent stream. I think I did read that correctly, right?
Because it was determined by the board back in 2020.
So,
But in
And-
light of the information that Mr. Gray came forward with, that the documentation from DEP that came out in early July said not to use the standards because of the drought, and it became extreme in August. But it said you couldn't use the comparatives to make a determination at that time. And my question to the board members that we had voted on it were that if you were aware of that information back then, what would have been their vote as far as it being intermittent? Because the state had issued a letter, which Mr. Gray did provide, I believe. He provided us with a copy of it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I think I saw it in one of the documents he sent.
I know, I watched the meeting where that was determined. I think you two were on the board. And it was also, were you there or was Kevin there?
Kevin was there.
I know it was brought up that in 2002, was also another determination for the Butters property, that it was intermittent as well.
Because Mr. Thompson had said it was a significant river, and then that was initially when he did the project for Mr. Grady.
Yep.
And
I know.
then
Go ahead.
Mr. Riley presented it to the board, and Mr. Kevin Grady did say there was 4 days of observation. However, none of the documentation of the findings and the letter from the state was nowhere, but Bob Gray found the letter from the state because every town was issued that on the South Shore.
So, my real question is, what do we do with the upstream property? Because is it, should they be showing the 200? You did show the boundary of the 100 and 200, and the 200 is actually on the road when you look at the plans for the upstream river. And is it perennial or is it intermittent? 5 Dale Street was perennial when DEP went out, but
And unfortunately,
and so I'm in a bit of a quandary with this one, and I don't know what you guys think.
Good, Paul.
Did I submit the email regarding the drought guidance from the state that we had received?
Yes, I've read it.
I've read it.
And that they determined that because
Is that the email from Greg DeCesar?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't see that
Yeah.
one. What does
I
that,
didn't see that either.
so an email from Greg. I'm going to watch his last name here. Desari.
DeCesar, I think it is.
Caesar is the way he says it.
Yes. Environmental analyst with Mass DEP South Regional Office. On Wednesday, September 16th, 2020, we had reached out regarding the drought status as we were coming before Grady Consulting was coming before the board at the time. And Greg had written that the way he read the guidance, we can use the July evidence to determine the river status in a southeast drought region town because the secretary didn't declare a level 2 significant drought advisory until August 13th, and we had filed before that date.
So I'm not arguing about what's on the property. At this point, I'm just asking you, upstream, where the barn is and the roadway, is it, what do you guys think? I think it's perennial, but, nobody's proved it's not, to me. But that's been a comment I've been making, even when I was sitting in the public. I actually brought it up back in August of the last year, I think. So they do show it, the 200-foot and 200-foot buffer, the riverfront district, and when you get to the 200, it does overlap the roadway there, so it does have an impact if it is considered perennial.
I know when I walked the property, and I believe Jim, you were there at the time, we walked and we went up to where the house was proposed, up to where the river was, because it hadn't been on the map and has now since been put on. And I wanted to see where the river was, and it is ravine-like there, so it's very defined, whereas as it moves further down to where the crossing is, it's more field-like.
Oh, yeah, I learned from that 2020 meeting from Doug that it's a man-made stream.
Mr. Trainer moved many streams in town, and he's got a really bad rep.
I know.
So I think, that's part of why some of this stuff doesn't always make sense.
Right, and
But my thing is, you guys have your own opinion as well, but 2020, they determined that it was intermittent in this location. It's determined in 2002 that it was intermittent downstream. And that at that September meeting in 2020, the abutter, Doug Ulwick, all he talked about was that it was dry. Several other years, droughts, no droughts. And I'm not going to speak on the owner's behalf, but he purchased this property thinking that there's an intermittent stream in that location. I don't know if that would have changed his outlook on purchasing the property if it was determined it was perennial. So
I didn't purchase the property without the document.
and we're not taking a vote on revising the board's decision from 2020, because all we'd be doing is pushing him back
Right, and I'm
several months.
right. I'm not arguing about
No.
the actual what's on the property. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up the upstream piece of it. That in my opinion, it's perennial. But
And that determination expires in September 2023.
that's
3 years, yeah.
Don't see a reason to look into it until it's time to look into it. We'll leave it alone as intermittent.
That's my thoughts on it. Is it was determined that it was intermittent twice, both in that location and downstream, and I know Doug Ulrich isn't certified to make those decisions, but it's evidence that it is dry.
And just perennial streams don't drain into intermittent streams. Intermittent streams drain into perennial streams. So if this area was declared intermittent, that we've talked about, further upstream with a smaller watershed should also be considered intermittent. Perennial streams drain into other rivers or lakes, and there's none I know of between 5 Dale Street and 75 Dale Street. So if that's perennial, where does the perennial end and the intermittent begin? Where's that line in the sand? So, but intermittents drain into perennial. Perennials don't drain into intermittents. They drain into rivers, other rivers and lakes.
Anything else from the board? Open it up to the public. If anybody wants to speak, just get up to the podium and state your name and address. All right, bring it back to the board. Any further discussion?
I mean, I'm comfortable with the plans. I mean, they've done everything. The peer reviewers have asked, multiple peer reviews. There's about half a dozen engineers involved with this project. It is a single-family house at the end of the day. I'm comfortable with it. They've answered any questions I might have had. They've done everything the peer reviewers have asked. They've changed driveways. They've moved things. They've increased the drainage. They put a tight tank in. I'm comfortable with it, and I would like to make a motion to approve SE 084-0549, 75 Beale Street.
Second.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. It's approved.
Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I'm still waiting on some questions from Bob Gray on that.
No, it's like I said.
Do you need water?
project.
Oh, you have water.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I wanna get my ducks in a row. Not for that. Well, let me check my email at the end of the meeting, but. Well, you got 21 days.
Yeah,
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, next on the agenda is SE 084-0552, continued hearing for abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Eduardo de Oliveira, located at 44-54 Street. Is there anyone here from the applicant? Huh?
Doug Abbey representing Dewatering with the Box LLC. We're here for the wetland delineation report that was filed for wetland delineation on 9.2 acres of property on Linwood Street. And I believe this is either the second or third hearing on this, which the flagging ran from 1 all the way to approximately number 38 or 39, number 40. I have walked the site with Dean, and I know a few other members called me to find out where they could park there, that they were going to go out and look at it also. It's pretty cut and dry line. It comes down, it's basically at the base of the hill here. As you can see, it's up at elevation 134. Site drops all the way down 20 feet, 115. The flagging from approximately number 27 through 39 basically follows the sewer easement line, which is a 20-foot sewer easement. At the time that it was installed, there was a 10-foot access strip on each side for storage of materials and for grading. So this line runs, and the town did this. They kept it in the upland portion of the site. So I think it's pretty cut and dry. Members went out and saw it. So, and at this time, the applicant has basically obviously has plans to develop it, whether he just puts a house out here for himself. At one time, it was subdivided. I think it's called number, what is it, 44 and 54 or something like that.
Correct.
It was approved for two pork chop lots for Rob Ryerson, which he got a variance for. And at that time, there was planned for 2 houses. According to the attorneys, the variance has expired. At this time, there's a water moratorium and other moratoriums, so we're kind of just waiting on time.
Any questions from the board? Open up to the public. Just get up to say your name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. You take my spot, no?
Sorry about that.
I'm Dan Broman, 222 Linwood Street. Linwood Street was one of the prettiest streets in Abington. We had a farm and some open space. Now with 2 separate developments of 6 homes crammed in, it no longer is a pretty street. But my biggest worry is for the wildlife. One neighbor showed me pictures of animals who use this greenway behind her house on Linwood Street, and she is concerned. My wife and I started a wildlife sanctuary in our backyard. We have more displaced animals and birds visiting us every year. Red-bellied woodpeckers and common flickers now visit us daily. Their habitats are dwindling. They are literally being starved out of their house and home. I am thankful we finally have a Conservation Commission that knows the meaning of the word. We need to protect and preserve our natural heritage. We need to conserve nature. And this project is going to affect nature in my backyard. So it affects me personally. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Just go ahead and state your name and address, please.
My name's Henry Serignano. I live at 78 Linwood Street, so it abuts me from behind. I'm just looking to find out some information. Has the wetlands already been delineated out there?
Yes, that's the,
That's all the flags and stuff there, because I went out there and walked there yesterday. Is there any idea what this is going to be? I mean,
That's not the purpose of this, we're just here to,
on conservation.
yeah, we're just here to approve where the wetlands are.
Has anybody walked out there and checked
Yes.
it?
I
Okay,
have.
you guys all, so you're all happy with it and everything?
Well, I mean, my major concern is seeing where the wetlands lie
Right.
and if they were all tagged appropriately. So Mr. Garvey was kind enough to run up and down the hill for me and read the tag numbers to me.
Okay,
You know, again, I know it's a sensitive area, and I see that Hunts Pond does come in. You can
right,
see the inlet right along that wetland. And with the wetlands and the flags that were there, you could see the high water marks on the rocks, so it was well within where his flags were.
right.
So, I mean, if you know more than I do, because you live there, I mean, please share.
No, I walked down there yesterday, and I'm just trying to get some more information, because I go to Florida in the wintertime, so this was all coming about, and I just got home 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
Welcome back.
Thank you. But, yeah, I just want to, stay up on the top of what's going on here.
Right.
I went down there yesterday, walked around, and I seen the flags, and that's pretty much, the area there, and if you guys went down there and looked at it, and it all looks good to you, I don't have any issues with it. As far as down the road, what he's going to do with it, I'll just have to
We
stay
don't
on
know
top.
at this
No,
time.
okay, I get it.
Yeah, and
And-
when he does come, when the property owner does come back, he's gonna come before the board with the set plans, and then
Then we.
Right. I've been to the plant, and they said so far there's been no plans put forward on
There's
it.
nothing that we
yeah,
know
you'll
of.
be, you'll be notified.
Okay,
Anyways, since you're
great.
aware.
All right, that's what I need to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a quick note, I mean, we're showing the 100-foot buffer zone
Right.
in here.
Right.
So obviously, anything that is done on the site
Right.
will be at some time projected in the 100-foot buffer zone. So obviously, a notice of intent would be filed with the Conservation Commission at that time.
I think for the sake of the public, though, when they look at a map like this, I mean, obviously the flags are there, but with the 100-foot buffer, had it been colored or something, it would be more prevalent as to where they need to stay away from, and if they do or get into the buffer, that's when they have to, they have to file an NOI and come before us again, and there has to be a lot of back and forth.
Unfortunately, I feel our laws are not protecting our natural world. Our laws are a joke to me, 100-foot buffer to the wetland. This is a sensitive area, like you said, this is an area critical to the survival of nature. And I'm sorry,
Do you want to
that's
come,
what I'm
Dan?
trying to express.
I was just going to say to come up to the podium.
Anybody else from the public? Bring it back to the board. Any other questions? Someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the delineation area.
I'll second that.
One second? I second. Okay. All those in favor?
They're all fighting.
Yeah.
Beat me to it.
Thank you.
It's like a fight. Who's going to say it first?
All right, I'm gonna bump up, SE 084-0555, complete hearing, abbreviated notice of resource delineation filed by Jim Lambert, WB East Acquisitions LLC, located at 0 Summer Street. They told me, this morning at 9:08, requested continuance for the May 10th meeting.
So have we been able to get a hold of them so that they know that they need to pay for the consultant?
I spoke with Tony, they said they sent a check out last week, and you still haven't talked
I haven't received it. I talked to Nicole. We haven't received the check yet. He knows, he sent it in the mail, it's just somewhere in there.
So as soon as the check comes, we can,
Well, as soon as the check comes, it has to clear before.
Yeah.
and then you can sign the contract.
Sign the contract, and then they can schedule it, so I mean, they might not be ready for the May 10th meeting, but at least.
Have you been in touch with Mark Manganello on that?
Not yet, I just found out about the check.
Oh,
check
okay, sorry.
now. Somebody want to make a motion to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue, what was it again? Oh, SEO 084 00555 WPE Acquisitions LLC, 0 Summer Street, until the May 10th. That's Mrs.
Excuse me, Paul, we have people in the audience. Are you here for Zero Summer?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to get up and speak? Do you have any questions?
My understanding is you're simply continuing, so no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly correct. We approved having a consultant go out to look at, to check the wetlands delineation, but we still have some things that have to get done for that to happen.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And next on the agenda is SE 084-0553, issue order of conditions filed by the Metro Member Board for the construction of duplex residential facilities in parking area 154 Broman Ave. That NOI was approved at the April 12th meeting.
We actually have it in our packet, but, I have it with the, did you get this thing here? I have a,
Yeah, I got them in my packet,
it's under the Sebacia thing. Keep looking.
but I probably got it somewhere.
It looks like, I think Lynn did the orders of conditions for us.
She did. She did. I see it.
You got it. Everybody should have a copy, I think.
I do have it.
Yeah, I had a couple comments on the conditions that Lynn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody has a copy of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that she took some stuff from that class that she went to,
NBCC, yep.
from MAC, about restoration. I think that they've enhanced it. I actually think that we might want to take some of these and make them part of our standard conditions. I was going to suggest maybe we even think about having a little subcommittee to update our order of conditions, because this looked like a nice
I'm
section.
doing a project right now, somebody else took the MACC ones and another town. One of my,
Ooh,
246 conditions.
oh no.
Really?
No.
When we took the class, I don't know how many here have taken the class, but with the MACC class, how to write an effective order of conditions, they actually go through and they have a couple of examples and have you take the time to write down what you would think the order of conditions were and go through each and every one of them. So I found it very informative, and things that I never thought of before, like I think one of them, can I just say it, was that when trucks go in and out of a site, that they're responsible for cleaning up the roads and not the town, and ensuring that the site is clean. And well, and a lot of towns complain that, the roads are a mess and people get hit with stones and rocks and dust flies in their yard. I mean,
It's a constant problem at a construction site.
yeah. So, I found the class very informative.
All right. Ready?
Ready?
Ready, Freddie?
All right, I came up with, for A, A1, what do we want to put down for work line on that one?
Yes.
How many feet?
We usually do 25,
Yeah.
but I don't want them storing it in the restoration area,
Correct.
so we probably want to say 100. Right? Because they got to be out of the 100-foot river. And I don't want to make it hard on them, but,
How far away would that blacktop be where the driveway was? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, if they keep it to the front towards Brockton Avenue.
maybe
that's-
50, maybe 50.
50 probably, yeah.
50 will work.
What do you guys say?
50.
50?
If it wasn't for the riverfront, we could do closer.
I always read on the reader right on those.
No.
A2, A3, A4, A5, and A6.
Yes.
B, I have 1, 2,
There aren't any drainage structures, are there?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. So
oh,
not,
I just did it for flow patterns,
yeah.
that's why.
Okay. So scratch drainage and just put flow patterns in.
B1, B2, B5, and B6.
Yeah.
Oh, I have 5 and 6. I wrote that down. Look. Looks like playing bingo.
On C, I have C2 and C3.
Okay.
D, I have 1 and 2.
Me too.
Huh?
I did too.
Oh, okay. Right off. All right, that's it for D. E, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We have to fill in some numbers for
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I left mine blank.
Did Lynn figure it out for us?
I don't think she did.
No, I don't think so. Well, can we do that afterwards, Paul?
We'll just fill in, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
fill in the square footage then. 8, the same thing,
Mhm.
put it through that. Then I had E9.
Yep.
I didn't have anything for F.
Yeah.
G, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do you want to put down for the,
50 again.
yeah.
Solid G.
6 and 7, yep.
Yep.
H, I had 2, 4, 5,
Mm-hmm.
all of 6.
Mm-hmm.
7, I have just C.
Okay.
Then H8, H9.
Yep.
I1 and I2, I all for I.
Mhm.
J, 1, 2, and 3.
Perfect.
Okay. She added another 4 square footage.
Oh, yeah, 2050 square feet. Look at that.
That's great.
She's awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
7 and 8, right?
It was on the drawings, she's right.
Yeah.
I
it was on the-
remember asking him about that. Cool.
E7. You want to go through all of these, or I have comments on?
What did you have comments on?
Right, which one?
Which ones did you have comments on?
Number 3.
Order number for, oh.
Unscheduled inspection by conservation for the designated staff may occur at any time during the project when the standards are being met. This condition will apply once the project is completed for 2 years to ensure that once the buffer zone is met. I think we should set a time. I don't think we should be.
I think the reason why she put that in there is because when we took that class, they had said that one of the best ways to keep a control on it without having to really get into it and
Right.
see it after it's already progressed too far. Not a big visit, just pop in, just look and see, and, you know, if anything's out of whack.
Right, that's why I'm saying we should put like 7 to 5 or 7 to 7, that, because you never, if the contract is out there at midnight.
Oh,
Right.
oh gosh,
There'll be
no.
other
Oh,
reasons.
that's what you meant about.
I would hope the neighbors
No,
would not be
no.
happy, and,
Yeah, I would say
Right.
like daytime
You're
on.
gonna get a butters at the interview, why
Sure,
is this person out there?
yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I agree.
What do you want to do for time, 7,
7 to 7. Yeah. That seems reasonable. I think that's the operating hours for
I
businesses.
think that should be, if we put that in any order of conditions.
Right.
Instead, I don't think we should say.
Yeah.
right,
Undetermined, you can go out there
yeah, no.
at 2 in the morning.
Oh, no.
I don't want you calling me, telling me I need to be somewhere at 2 in the morning unless there's an oil spill or something.
So do we want to go through all of these, or do we want to just? I went through them all, I'm fine with that, that's the only comment I had on them.
I did read through them, and it's very thorough. This is exactly what they had said to do, because there is no misinterpretation. They know specifically. Their wetland people will need to get together with conservation and come up with exactly where they're going to put what, but, I mean, she just spelled everything out right there.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we'll just have another section called restoration. Maybe we can get Lynn
The
to-
only thing
on our
is,
standard.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The only thing I want to say is I did talk to the neighbor who actually abuts this property, Shannon,
The one that was at the last meeting?
no, Shannon Kelly. She's the one that lives on Nile Street, where her backyard is the floodplain for this location.
Yep.
So, she's concerned about her privacy, and that she had touched base with the Mr. Mento, I think it was Dan she reached out to, and he had said specifically to her that he was going to include some white pines, and I think here in Lynn's plan, it only calls for the red maple and I think another species. So I want to make sure that that's put in here as well, because it's definitely going to be impacting her specifically, and the more plantings, the better, because she's getting inundated with a lot of the, what do you call it? When it runs downhill and it flows into her yard, she sees a
Oh,
lot of.
siltation?
Beyond the siltation. She says the brook has just been, the stream has not been
there's-
the same since.
Well, because there's nothing to stop it.
Right, there's nothing stopping it, and so a lot of the erosion that was happening, so she was very happy to hear that the plantings were gonna be a little more substantial.
So what plantings do we want to put down?
What
I
number?
think Lynn already
what
put
number?
it down, I'm trying to think of the number off the top of my head. I have to find it. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, 32?
Wow, so what?
Number 32, in addition to the vegetation outlined in the restoration plan, native trees shall be planted. Trees may include one or more of the following species: red maple, silky dogwood, and I'm just going to add in there, write in white pines per Mr. Mento.
Okay.
And I believe the size of them was 6 to 8 feet tall. So she was very pleased to hear that the building has been moved over.
So are we going to ask, excuse me.
Why don't we just make that a separate
a separate condition?
condition?
Okay.
Yeah, how many trees? There's 10 here that she put in. Are we going to make him
I
do
wouldn't
5
add,
more?
I wouldn't add more on, just
I think
let them,
10's a lot.
let
So-
them pick what they want to do.
But yeah.
Make
but
a variety.
With very specific, it says 5 and 5 under
Yep.
number 32. So,
Shall we strike that and make it 3 to 3?
You want to just cancel out that whole,
I would,
cross out?
because we couldn't see what was there, and looking at Google Earth, I mean, you know, I know the other abutter was there and she said, all the trees were dead, but yet if you look at Google Earth, it just shows trees, but.
Why don't we just say on this one that we're going to plant up to 10 trees, because that's what she has in here, and then just list, it says what
C.
species.
C, we'll just put down white maple,
Yeah,
White pine.
white pine.
white pine, I'm sorry.
And say it's 6 to 8 feet tall, and just take out the quantity of 5
Yep,
on both of them and just say up to 10. No, they will put in 10 and they can pick their mix.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
It does make sense. 10 trees, but there will be a mix of red maple, silky dogwood.
Whatever, yeah,
White
and
pine.
that meant, there
Right.
may be,
Because I think they're
might be
designed,
a better time for planting for certain things than others, I don't know.
right, I think their design didn't spell out exactly where everything was going.
all right, one other condition.
Sure.
I know when Carl was here and Mr. Menta was here, we talked about getting rid of the water inside the foundation that's there right now.
That needs to be
Oh,
pumped off, yeah.
It doesn't need to be pumped, I don't think. I think they can set up a basin with a dirt bag. The water's, you can see the bottom. It's not full of silt
It's
or
not
anything.
contaminated because
It's ground, it's just
dirt.
rainwater, it's just
But
runoff.
what are you suggesting? How are they going to put it back in the ground? They're going to just infiltrate it
Yeah,
somewhere?
that's how I do it all the time. They have,
Yeah, but is there,
Tim can
I
probably talk to
actually
it too.
talked to Paul about this because I saw one on the job site,
Okay.
and I did actually make printouts for everybody to take a look at.
you
It's-
good?
It's pretty cool. We actually used one on a job site, and it works awesome.
Oh, perfect. So you get
Okay,
the sand and the dirt out.
Yep.
It's like a
I
bag.
mean, they
That's
have bags
awesome.
that go down, filter down to 5 microns.
I'm
but
fine
this
with that.
won't add to any of the runoff that's being felt at 95, will it? I mean, is that gonna impact or any
It's
more
just
negative?
it's gonna slowly release out of the bag and
Okay,
just
all right.
go down. It won't, that's what
These
they're
are great.
designed for.
All right, because I would like to be able to go and show her this and just let her know that, assure her that it's not going to flood her backyard.
So,
Yeah, it's pretty slow. It blows up like a pillow, and then it slowly releases out, and then it'll stop working when it's done, and you have to change the bag.
this is
Just
great.
don't-
Where
it is.
where'd you
It's
see
perfect.
that?
And-
Just don't
I actually
hit-
saw it out in West Bridgewater.
Yeah,
You can
they-
get them right in Rockland.
Really?
Yeah, they use it
Yeah.
for sediment a lot.
No, and I mean, that water's clean. It's not,
Yeah, it's actually
No, I mean,
settled
there's
out
not,
too.
it's just, they
But-
just dug the foundation,
Yeah.
built a hole. that we have
and
here.
I drove by yesterday, it still had water in it. I'm sure with the rain today, there's gonna be more,
Yeah,
but
but-
us having them go out there with a truck to spend thousands
Back
of
in,
dollars
that
to get
seems
rid of,
ridic- This seems simple.
Okay.
yeah.
This would be great. So how do we write this condition?
Dewatering can be done either by truck or by
By
Sediment
a
removal.
dirt
Sediment
bag or, a dirt bag or similar?
approved by,
Yeah.
by the Conservation
Do you
Commission.
want to pencil that in as number 62? Well, again, that way there's no room for missing.
No, I'm just laughing at the number. That's all.
Like I said, 246.
We're gonna have to figure that out.
No, we don't need to do 246 ever.
Absolutely not. It's too many. I don't even know how you keep track of that. Okay,
so-
Unfortunately, the town has 3 full-time conservation agents, so I'm gonna have to keep track of it. So number 62, dewatering.
Oh, this is yours. Oh, can we keep
Yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've done. Tim, do you think we should have them put like a hay bales around it too, or?
Yeah, because any of the water that comes out, just slow it down at that
Yeah.
point.
I mean, it's
I
belts
think
and
it actually, it might
belts and
even,
suspenders, but that's usually how I do
think
it.
there's a spec on it actually in this of how to set it. I thought I read something about it,
Does it say hay bale?
about setting it on crushed stone or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to set it on crushed stone, but
Oh, aggregate and hay bale bed to maximize
Yeah.
water flow through the surface area of the bag. I got it.
Yeah, so if he does like a dewatering ring or something around it, just to keep it
like I said, it's
contained,
not,
it's gonna be clean water coming out anyways.
That's a
by
really
the time we
good
finish
idea.
writing these orders of condition, they've already had it pumped out.
Yes,
And then hopefully they fill the hole right away.
could be the best thing they could
That's,
do.
that's a problem, contractors, they don't always do it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
But yeah, just, if you ever see one that's full with a lot of silt, don't hit it with a stick.
Really?
Think of a waterbed on steroids.
I would love to see one, well, I will get to see one of these, maybe. That's all.
This one won't be that
Won't be that
impressive.
exciting. You'll barely see it, probably.
All right, someone want to make a motion to approve?
Oh, one other thing, the neighbor did ask, well, we talked about, I'm sorry, on the parking lot and the snow removal, no salt areas because of the sensitive area that it's in, no salt.
Is that in our standard order conditions?
I
Is
thought
it?
that was
I
one
don't
of the
think-
last, I know.
I don't think it is, because I think when we did the place on Bedford Street that's going to be the new dental office, we had to put in that.
There's a salt alternative.
Yeah, we have,
Salt alternative is what you
yeah, we
suggested.
wrote it in for the dental place over here.
Yeah.
Right,
Same
so
thing.
I think we need to just make sure that a
Yeah.
salt alternative is used
Or
and
straight
that,
sand or something.
yeah, because you don't, I mean, we're being so cautious with the rest of it, I mean, we might as well just make sure that it's understood.
Salt alternative for. Anything else? Someone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the order of conditions for, here we go, SZ 0840553.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next on the agenda is,
Sites.
yep, site visits. Did anybody get a chance to go over to Mount Laurel yesterday?
I went to Mount Laurel, but nobody was there.
Yeah,
So can you explain what they want to do? Because that was my,
you saw the retaining wall that, on the driveway? Basically, they want to, from the tree line on, by the sidewalk on the Mount Laurel side of the property.
so beside the sidewalk?
Yeah, right behind the sidewalk wherever they're allowed to put it. They basically want to just follow that, look around parallel with the driveway right behind the retaining wall.
So the only place where the fence won't be on the river at all?
No.
Just on the
right
corner.
along the,
Just on the street?
yeah, they want to do it for privacy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So are they going to file a request for determination? Is that what they're going to do?
I think they asked for one, I mean, unless we don't need them to.
I thought, yeah, there was something in my, I had a.
No, those weren't Mount Laurel.
Yeah.
We have two other, okay, so yeah, they'll be on our next meeting.
Okay, yeah, it's in the riverfront, but I think where they want to put it, it seems, it's just on the sidewalk pretty much. And it's outside, generally outside
Yeah.
the riverfront.
And then, we already discussed the site walk at 4454 Linwood Street. We have no meeting minutes to approve tonight. We did get some correspondence from zoning.
Oh,
It's for 0 Summer Street, but I don't even know if we want to, I don't think there's really a point to even look at it yet because we haven't even approved where the wetlands are. But if anybody wants to look at them, to see what's going in, what's potentially going in,
I can't even imagine.
have at it.
I think we need to put something like that up on the big screen so that we can all see it at one time, because
We
we
can-
don't have enough room
When it gets to that point.
when it gets to that
so did
point.
they give us a zoning advisory of like what else they're going to have, or is it just 0 Summer Street that you got?
Well, they just asked for our feedback, and I said, well, there's no point to giving feedback until we know where the wetlands are, because if
Right. 'cause
the
that could have
delineation
an
comes
impact.
back different than what our plans show, it's
Mhm.
a waste of our time.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, my
Wanna
only feedback on the zoning is the stormwater. Because we're in the Zone 2 Water Quality District, that they really are going to need to do extra, because it's triggered through through 310 CMR 10,
Yep.
but it's actually the drinking water standards that get triggered. And it applies mostly to stormwater, but it's also about storage of fuels and different things on site and how far they can dig down. Groundwater has to be a certain distance away. So
Well,
it's going to become important, but
You might have some of your it might be on there if you want to take a look at it, just to see.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's preliminary, so things could change.
Yeah, the last time I watched the last zoning, and I didn't see that they really even addressed stormwater very much. I think it might be under the parking lot right now.
Yep, but when they want our feedback, we can,
We'll have plenty of time.
We can
They're
inundate
gonna
them
have
with it
to
if
come
we have
back
to.
with a full notice of
Yep.
intent to us, so
oh yeah.
it's gonna be painful.
It is. I watched the zoning board meeting too, and I heard the fire chief and his concerns, and I'm like, yikes, I feel bad.
But it doesn't have anything to do with wetlands.
No.
No, I know,
It's before us now, no, it's, like I said,
It's
I
just,
think,
yeah,
I think it's
so,
too soon for us to be
to be
spending
working
time on it.
I think so.
Just one other thing on 154 Brockton Ave. Can we give an order of our, or can we make the building department aware of this too, so that they're aware that we have special conditions?
Well, Tony's gonna,
Thank you.
anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
God, the quick to do that. Yeah.